What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Detroit Lions video. Now, the Detroit Lions had a little bit of news to come out yesterday, as they previously had stated, Rod Wood had previously stated that they were closing off and finalizing the GM candidacy list. They got all their guys they wanted, they interviewed everybody they wanted, and now they were working on finalizing, now they were working on getting the right guy, finding that right guy, and obviously hiring him. However, yesterday news came out that the Detroit Lions are now reopening the interviewing process with GMing candidates in order to interview the Indianapolis Colts assistant general manager in Ed Dodds. Now, Ed Dodds is a guy that a lot of people wanted. Ed Dodds is a guy that a lot of fans of Detroit wanted us to interview. A lot of people were very disappointed when he did not get interviewed and that finalized list came out. However, they are now getting their wish and they are now getting what they wanted, as the Detroit Lions are set to interview Ed Dodds today about the GM vacancy in Detroit. Now, before we get into Ed Dodds' history, what he could do as a general manager, why he's qualified to be the general manager of our Detroit Lions, if you are new to the channel and are enjoying this Detroit Lions content, please consider liking the videos and subscribing to the channel. It takes just 2 seconds out every day to do so. It helps the channel out more than you could know, and I'd be super appreciative for it. So if you could do that, take those 2 seconds to like and subscribe, and maybe even a third one to hit the bell icon so you never miss a notification. I'd be super appreciative for it. But with all that being said, and without any further ado, let's get into talking about Ed Dodds, the potential GM replacement for Bob Quinn. Now, as I said in the beginning, the Detroit Lions had previously closed off their GMing interviews. They came out, Rod Wood and the Detroit Lions organization said, we finalized our list, we have all our guys, we interviewed who we want to interview, we got who we got in the building, we got who we wanted in the building, we finalized it, now we're going to go through and really nitpick and find the right person. However, now that Ed Dodds is available, now that Ed Dodds is, accepted an interview with the Detroit Lions, they have now reconsidered and reopened the interviewing process so they could get one more general manager candidate in the conversation. Now, this is very big news by the Detroit Lions. This is very big for the Detroit Lions because Ed Dodds is not an easy person to get an interview with. Ed Dodds is not the easiest person to interview. He's not the easiest guy to get in the building just to interview in the first place. I mean, he turned down Cleveland's interview for the general manager spot a couple of years ago, last year even. He previously interviewed with the Carolina Panthers, but has then since withdrawn his request and said, I know I'm not going to be your general manager. I just don't want to be. I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to, I'm just not going to do this kind of thing. I'm not going to be your general manager. It's not happening. So Ed Dodds is not always the easiest person to get an interview with, and he's definitely not the easiest person to get as your general manager. He's very specific about what he wants. He's very picky about what he wants in a team and for a general, he's very picky about what he wants to walk into as the general manager. He's very specific about the situation, very specific about who he wants in the building with him. Even getting an interview with him is very big because not every team does. Not every team gets an interview with Ed Dodds. So the fact that the Lions are interviewing him today about the potential coaching or about the potential GM vacancy is very big for the Detroit Lions. Now, Ed Dodds is a very experienced general manager. He's been the assistant general manager for the Indianapolis Colts from 2017 to the current day, and before that, he was the assistant general manager in Seattle from 2007 to 2017. In that time, from 2007 to 2016, the Seattle Seahawks won 5 division titles and went to 2 Super Bowls, including 1 Super Bowl championship and one that they should have run the football on the goal line. Sorry, Seattle fans. Now, Ed Dodds is a very good drafter. He's a very good evaluator of talent, especially in draft classes. And some of the guys that he drafted, he drafted pretty much the entire Legion of Boom, or had a very large part in drafting the entire Legion of Boom. You look at all the guys he's drafted that are notable names, and this is not everybody, but these are some of the top guys that he did end up drafting. You have guys like Russell Okung, Golden Tate, Earl Thomas, KJ Wright, Richard Sherman, Byron Maxwell, Bruce Irvin, Bobby Wagner, Cam Chancellor, Russell Wilson, Frank Clark, Malik Hooker, Marlon Mack, Anthony Walker, Quentin Nelson, Darius Leonard, Nyheim Hines, Rocky Sin, Michael Pittman, Jonathan Taylor, and Julian Blackmon, etc., etc. You could go on for days and days about his draft picks and his draft success for a lot of different teams. And, Ed Ed Dodds, I know he's not the general manager. I know that he's not the guy making the pick, but he is very much involved in every pick that is made. He is very much involved in the organization, very much involved in the decisions that are made, whether it be a trade, a free agent signing, or a draft selection. He is very involved. He's right there. His opinion is obviously one of the more loud ones in the room. He has one of the more influential opinions in the draft room when it comes to trading in the organization. His voice is one of the louder voices to go across, and he has more influence than a lot of other people do in the Colts organization. And for the most part, everywhere that Ed Dodds has gone for the assistant general manager position, the team has been successful. The Colts have not had a losing record since acquiring him as the assistant general manager. With that, the Seattle Seahawks only had 4 losing seasons under him, and that came in all one stretch at the very beginning of his tenure. And then after that, he ended up drafting Legion of Boom, ended up going to 5 division championships, ended up going to 2 Super Bowls. Like, he was very, very good for the Seattle Seahawks. He's been very, very good for the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, everywhere he goes, he builds a very, very good team, whether it be a phenomenal defense, whether that be a very, very good offensive line in the trenches like we see in Indianapolis, whether that be a great defense like we saw in Seattle. Everywhere he goes, he has a very, very strong team and has a centerpiece of the team that is considered the best in the NFL. Not to mention that Ed Dodds has also been able to make some very nice trades for both organizations. I mean, he traded for Marshawn Lynch in the 2010 season, and even this past offseason, he made a trade for San Francisco 49er defensive tackle DeForest Buckner, and DeForest Buckner ended up being one of the better defensive tackles this season. Yeah, he gave up a lot to acquire Buckner, but it's looking like it's going to pay off, as Buckner looks like one of the better defensive players and one of the better defensive linemen in the NFL this season. Not to mention that, obviously, the Colts are a playoff team. We just saw them in Wild Card Weekend. Unfortunately, they did lose, but they kept it very close versus a very good Buffalo Bills team, which was good to see. So we know that Indianapolis is a good team, right? We played Indianapolis as the Lions. We got smoked by Indianapolis. It wasn't even close. That defense was ferocious. It was very good. It played very, very well. The offense was able to put up decent points behind a very good offensive line and a very good running game. And, and with that being said, we know how good the Indianapolis Colts are. We know that they're a good football team. They're a 10-6, 11-5 football team for every NFL season, especially this NFL season. The Indianapolis Colts currently sit 4th in the NFL with available cap space with just over $56 million to spend. So not only has Ed Dodds helped to build a very good, very efficient, very well-rounded, and very complete team in Indianapolis, he also did so while having $56 million, about a quarter of the cap space, available to use in free agency and for new players to be brought in. That is an incredible milestone. That is an incredible thing to do, because if you look at a lot of very good teams, if you look at a lot of the Super Bowl contenders, they're very good football teams, but they don't manage the cap very well. The Saints are $100 million in debt. The Chiefs are in debt. The Seattle Seahawks are in debt. A lot of the good teams, the Packers, are way behind the salary cap. A lot of good NFL football teams, a lot of playoff-bound, Super Bowl-bound teams are way below the cap, and that's going to hurt them in the long run. However, that's not the case with Indianapolis. They have a young core, they have a bright future, and they have a lot of cap space to improve the team going forward in the next couple of seasons, whereas a lot of the teams don't. The Packers don't have the cap space to go out and get big free agents. The Chiefs aren't going to have the cap space to go out and get a ton of free agents. A lot of these teams, a lot of these playoff Super Bowl teams don't have the cap space that you would like to see, whereas the Colts do. And the fact that the fact that Ed Dodds has not only been able to build a very complete and very successful team in Indianapolis, but has also been able to do so while saving and while managing the cap incredibly well and incredibly skillfully, is a huge reason to hire him as a GM, and is a huge reason that he is so sought after for his GMing ability. Ed Dodds really doesn't have that many flaws. I mean, yeah, you could say he's a little stubborn. Yeah, you could say he's a little picky when it comes to things like, oh, I want this guy as my coach. Oh, I want this guy. Oh, I'm not going to interview here because you're not looking to hire my guy. Like, yeah, you could say he's a little picky here and there. You could say he's a little bit that he has to have his way at times. But other than that, he's a very good candidate. He has the resume. He has the longevity. He's proven. I mean, he does things very, very well. I mean, he drafts well. He evaluates talent incredibly well. He makes good trades. He manages the cap very, very well. Very financially successful as a general manager. And truly, that is a guy that the Detroit Lions need. The Lions had Bob Quinn, right? He was not the greatest talent evaluator. He was not the greatest at managing cap. He was not bad at it. I mean, he got some good hits in the late rounds. He had managed the cap decently extremely well as the Lions are above average in cap space right now, but Ed Dodds is basically just better at everything. Ed Dodds is a better drafter. He's a better evaluator. He's better at managing the cap. He's better at getting free agents. He's better at contract negotiations. He is just a better general manager, and truly looking at all the general managers and all the candidates that the Lions have looked at, all the candidates that the Lions have interviewed, Ed Dodds is by far the best. Ed Dodds is by far the best candidate available for the Detroit Lions, and the fact that he's even considering the job makes it very, very enticing to me, because all I've heard this offseason is the Lions aren't the best team. The Lions aren't the best situation. The Lions are not the best as the general manager spot. The Lions are not the best for the head coaching spot, and yet somehow the Detroit Lions are very close and seemingly very close to getting Robert Saleh, arguably the best coaching candidate, and now Ed Dodds, the best GMing candidate available. I don't know what these guys are seeing that a lot of other people don't, but these guys are looking to come to Detroit. Ed Dodds wants to be here, else he wouldn't have taken the interview. And yeah, he can always take it back. Yeah, he can always say, all right, well, I interviewed, I didn't really like it, I'm not going to go to Detroit, it's just not going to happen. That could always be the case, and that is very, very possible that it happens. But the fact that Ed Dodds even accepted the interview is very big. The fact that Robert Saleh accepted and took his interview and it seemingly went very well according to some people, these are big moves by the Detroit Lions. The Lions are looking to get the best people available for the job. They're looking to get the best candidates available for this franchise, and this is the steps, and these are the steps that the Lions need to take in order to be a successful franchise. These are the steps that the Lions need to take if they want to get to where they want to be next season. If they want to be a good football team, they have to go after the best general manager candidate. They have to go after the best head coaching candidate, and as of right now, they seem like they have a very solid shot of getting both of them at the exact same time in the exact same offseason. With all that being said, that is all I got for you guys today. Again, very big news out of the Lions organization. They are reopening the GMing interviewing process in order to interview Indianapolis Colts Assistant General Manager Ed Dodds. Now, with all that being said, that's all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. Let me know down in the comments what you think about Ed Dodds as a potential GMing candidate. But with all that being said, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow with more Lions content. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye, guys.